choosing your adventure, partnership versus exchange programs. So today we are going to give an overview of the difference between the program structures. We're going to talk about the difference between the academics, program expenses, the student experience, and then getting started on applying for one of these programs or researching these programs. And then if you have any lingering questions at the end of the presentation, we will be happy to answer those. So I would like to introduce my colleagues who are presenting with me today, and I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Shira Burns and I am the Assistant Director in the Study Abroad Office, working with our partnership and exchange programs.
Hi everyone, I guess I didn't introduce myself, so I'll do it now. My name is Abby Delbra and I am an international coordinator in the Partnership and Exchange Unit, and I specifically work with programs in Asia and the Middle East.
Hi, everyone. I am Paula Balzer, and I am an international coordinator in the Partnership and Exchange Unit. And I work with programs in Australia, New Zealand, and then many, but not all, countries in Europe. Some of the kind of larger ones are France, Germany, Austria, and then several others that are probably too many to mention. So Europe is very popular, so we kind of split that one up.
Okay, so before we get into the overview, I would love to hear from you all as to what you're hoping to get from this presentation or questions that you're hoping to get answered. Since we have a smaller group, if you do want to unmute yourself, you are more than welcome to do that and share. If you're not comfortable with that, if you want to type something in the chat, you can do that too. But we just kind of want to know where you are at on your study abroad journey.
I'll go.
Awesome.
I am nowhere on my study abroad journey. I'm just getting started. I don't know much. I would love to do a study abroad program somewhere. I'm a Spanish major, so somewhere that speaks Spanish I think would make sense. Yeah, what do you want to know?
Excellent. That's perfect. We have multiple program types, so we're going to focus on partnership and exchange programs. Are you interested in a semester or summer program primarily?
Either, both.
Okay.
All of them. Just like right. Consecutive, as many as you can string together.
I love that. I love it. Okay, thank you for sharing. Anyone else brave enough?
Could I speak?
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, everybody. I appreciate for having me, and that's a great time for me because these days I'm seeking to exchange program from Spanish Barcelona to one of the well-known universities all around the world, such as ASU. I know the ASU in last year, but as my education program, I decided to change UPC University, University Polytechnica of Catalonia. But these days, there's many things in this country to be changed for a lockdown about 50 days, and that's not a very good atmosphere for me because in previous time in 2050, I was in München, Germany. I visited the Technical University of Munich, but this country is so different because it has no specific rules in anywhere. And I would like to change this space because in the university, most of the students speak Spanish, and that's so weird for me. And it's so hard. But as you know, I know some well-known people such as Peter H. Diamandis in the Joe Polish in Genius Network, and they know me. But at the current time, I'm stuck in this space. I would like to change it as soon as possible And if someone help me to do what can I do next, I appreciate you and appreciate everyone who could help me in this way. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for sharing. Anybody else? And then when you aren't talking, be sure to mute yourself. Okay. Well, we'll get started. Hopefully we are able to answer questions that you have during the presentation. But as I said, you will have time to ask questions as well. So partnership and exchange programs, what those are, they are primarily semester and year-long programs, although we do have some summer session programs. They're offered in multiple countries around the world. And as we talked about, we have multiple international coordinators in our office, and we are divided by region. We also have programs in our office that are faculty-directed programs, and those are run by another unit. And we aren't going to be focusing on those programs today, but you are welcome to look into those programs as well. I do want to mention that we have two international coordinators who are not here presenting with us today, and that would be Barbara Young and Maggie Flynn. And so you may end up meeting with them or speaking with them about opportunities if you're interested in their regions or countries. So the main difference in the framework of partnership and exchange programs is that partnership programs are ASU ASU is partnering with an organization that facilitates these study abroad programs. And those organizations sometimes will have their own study center, or they may be also partnering with an international institution. With exchange programs, we are partnering directly with a foreign institution. And so we send and receive students on those programs, and we kind of negotiate how many students we can send and receive each year to keep kind of a balance. So eligibility requirements, pretty much all of our programs are going to require a cumulative GPA of a 2.5 or higher. Like I said, some of them are higher, so it just really depends on the program. You typically need to be a degree-seeking student. You need to be in good standing with the ASU Code of Conduct. Every program has different requirements, so there could be prerequisite courses, especially if it's a language focused, or if you're going to that institution and taking courses in Spanish, for example. Some of them might be geared towards specific majors or give preference to those majors. Some of them are going to require that you are in a specific year at ASU. So maybe you're in your second semester sophomore year, for example. And then just note that some exchanges are competitive. So as I previously mentioned, we have to negotiate the number of students that we can send and receive each year. So because of that, if we get more applicants than the spots that we negotiated, we may not be able to send students on or all applicants on that specific program. If you have questions about which programs are competitive, you would just want to reach out to the specific international coordinator. We try to indicate that information on the program brochure page as well. A lot of students will ask about, what do we look for competitiveness? And the big things are GPA. We do have you write a personal statement about why you've chosen that program as well. So those are just some things to keep in mind. And now I'm going to turn it over to Paula.
Yes, and I'm going to talk about the student experience on these programs. So we just wanted to talk about some of the differences between the student experience on the partnership versus the exchange program. So first, we'll talk about partnerships. And again, with partnerships, we are partnering with a company or an organization that are facilitating the program for you. So it's a high level of support from the program provider, before, during, and after your studies. You're basically adding an additional level of support when you choose to go on a partnership program. They can help you prepare to go on the program. They can help you they're there helping you during your program and also after you're done with the program. Students are housed with other program participants on the program. That means that the program will provide housing for you and secure your housing for you. So students seeking enhanced cultural immersion may want to consider a homestay if it is an available option. Sometimes students want to, for example, if you're really wanting to work on your Spanish skills, you might choose to do a homestay with a family rather than living with other program participants. They have various options depending on the program. Visa guidance, if applicable, is offered by the program provider. So depending on the program, sometimes you're needing to apply for a student visa or some type of visa in order to enter that country. The partnership programs, the provider that we partner with will provide you with guidance to walk you through that visa process. Sometimes students may need to apply independently for their visa, but the partners that we're working with, they will assist students with that. And then cultural activities and excursions are often included in the program fee. So we're going to talk about fee structure and expenses and things like that just a little bit later in our presentation. But just to let you know, cultural activities and excursions are often included in the program fee that you're paying to go on this program. That does vary a bit by program. Some programs are more inclusive of those things than others, but they are often included. And then with exchange programs, these are the most independent type of program that we offer. So they're very independent. Students are doing many things for themselves rather than having that extra layer of support with the partnership. One of the really nice things that a lot of students like about these programs is that they are very culturally immersive types of programs. You are enrolling in a local institution and taking courses there, so they're very culturally immersive. An international office at the host institution is available to provide guidance and support. So it's not that students are just totally independent and out on their own. They have an international office, just like ASU. We have our study abroad office and we help our incoming exchange students. They have something similar, an international office that at that host institution in the foreign country that assists students who are on exchange there and provides them with guidance and support. Students are provided the tools to navigate independently. So again, these are very independent programs, but students aren't left totally in the dark. They are offered assistance in giving, links and information about how to find their housing, how to do their course registration. They are given, some guidance to then navigate independently. Students are expected to research and obtain a visa entirely on their own, if applicable. If the country that you're going to requires that you have a student visa, students are expected to be doing that independently. They don't have that partnership program to kind of hold their hands and walk them through it. So they do have to be able to navigate that piece of it. And then students arrange their own excursions and activities. So they have a choice in choosing, what types of excursions they want to do and organize their own. And next, we are going to talk about academics. So first of all, there's a few things that are definitely kind of shared with partnerships and exchange programs that are the same with both of these types of programs. First, ASU credit is earned for all completed coursework. It's not shown as like transfer credit or credit from a different institution or something like that. It's ASU credit is what you're earning while you're on these programs. Courses taken abroad do count as equivalent ASU credits, and grades do go towards your ASU GPA. They are, again, it's not considered transfer or something that's pass fail and doesn't count towards your GPA. All courses taken abroad on these types of programs are viewed as equivalent ASU credits. So you are getting classes evaluated to see how they do count as ASU credit. And you will meet with your academic advisor when you're going on one of these programs to ask them to complete the academic advising form so that you can get their insight on the types of courses that you should be taking. We aren't academic advisors in our office. We're not able to give you guidance on your major requirements. So we partner with your academic advisors and we require that you meet with them and ask them to complete that academic advising form when you're meeting with them. You will register in a quote unquote class. We call it a placeholder class called SAO. It's 196 if you're an undergraduate student, 596 if you're a graduate level student. We give you instructions on how to enroll in that. That's basically a placeholder course that you're enrolling in during the time for that semester or summer or whenever it is that you are studying abroad in this type of program. And then once we receive your transcript back from your foreign institution, that placeholder is dropped and then the actual credits and grades that you earned while you were on your program are added in their place. You do remain as a full-time ASU student while you're going on these programs, and you can maintain your honors status as well. You're still considered a Barrett student, even if you're studying abroad somewhere other than ASU. And then we did want to highlight some of the differences between partnership programs and exchange programs as well with academics. With partnership programs, a program provider will enroll you in the program and will register you for classes. So you're letting that program provider, the partnership provider, know which classes you'd like, and then they actually assist you to get enrolled in the classes. Classes may be offered either at a study center that the partnership is kind of putting on those classes themselves, or it can be through a host institution in that foreign country. Many classes or most classes on partnership programs are taught in English unless otherwise specified. We do have some partnership programs that are language learning programs. And then in that case, of course, your language acquisition programs, those are programs, then classes would be taught in that language. Classes often follow an American style of instruction. So if you're going on a partnership and taking classes at a study center that's been created by this partnership program, you don't have to adjust possibly to a different type of academic structure or instruction. They're very often taught in an American style that Americans are used to. Classes are often comprised of other study abroad students from across the United States, not necessarily students just from ASU. They certainly could be students from all across the United States, but sometimes classes, especially if they're taught at a study center rather than at a foreign or host institution, that will be comprised of other study abroad students from the US rather than local students from that country. And then on exchange programs, students do enroll directly through the host institution and register for classes. So there isn't a partnership or somebody that's like enrolling you in your classes. You're enrolling directly in that foreign institution. Students often have access to the entire course catalog of the university. This is especially true if students are choosing to do an exchange program in a country where that language is English. Then often, like Australia and New Zealand, in my region, for example, students have access to that course catalog of that entire university. So there's a wide variety of classes that are offered. If you're doing an exchange program in a country where the language of instruction isn't English, then that might be different. It just depends on the program. So, which leads me to my next point, the language of instruction may vary. So, and I will also mention too that if students, let's say, are fluent in Spanish and they're studying abroad in Spain, then of course they would have access to that entire catalog from that university as well. So it just depends on their language level. And the language of instruction may vary. So like I said, it just depends on the program and the country that you're choosing with that. And classes often reflect the educational norms of the host country. So it's very common if you're going on an exchange program that you may need to adapt to the academic structure, to the educational norms of the country that you are in, studying abroad in. And then finally, classes are often comprised of local students and other international students. So this is where that cultural immersion really kind of kicks in, one of the areas where you are taking classes alongside locals as well as other international students that attend that university. And now I will let Shira take the next part where we're talking about program expenses.
Thank you, Paula. So I feel like there needs to be a drum roll, right? Okay, so they're similar to the academics and the student experience. There are some aspects of expenses and funding that apply to both partnership and exchange programs. The biggest one is that for any semester length program, if you receive federal financial aid or ASU scholarships, you can apply those towards those semester length programs. If you're applying towards a summer program, it's a little bit more complicated. ASU scholarships, you can't use those towards a summer tuition or summer courses at ASU, so you can't use those on a summer study abroad program. But generally speaking, your financial aid and scholarship package will follow you on your study abroad program. Study abroad, a lot of times we talk to students who say, oh, I would love to study abroad, but we can't afford it, or I don't have the money for it. But there is so much money that's available, and it's a little bit of a misnomer because of that funding. So for example, last year, ASU students received over $1.4 million in study abroad specific scholarships and grants. This is not their financial aid package or ASU scholarships. These are special scholarships just for studying abroad. On our website, we have an entire section for funding. So if cost is a concern for you, I strongly recommend that you do take some time to go through those different resources that are available. We do have study abroad office scholarships and grants, several different types. There are college and department scholarships that are specific for studying abroad. And there's also national scholarships. So Gilman is a great example. If any of you are Pell Grant recipients, the Gilman Scholarship is designed for Pell Grant recipients who plan to study abroad for 21 days or more, which covers just about all of our partnership or exchange programs. And these are up to $5,000 scholarships just for the semester. So a lot of money that's out there that you can apply for. It might be kind of difficult to navigate all of these different funding sources and how to fund your program. So our office does offer a Financing Your Study Abroad workshop. These are offered every other week. We do these over Zoom, so you can find the links on our website and definitely join one of those. The key to funding your study abroad program in almost all cases is planning early. So if you are interested in studying abroad, it is never too soon to start thinking about how you might pay for it. And then another resource for you that's listed here is the low cost program guide. We have actually put together a page where you can look at your residency classification, because depending on if you are an Arizona resident, a non-Arizona resident, or an international student, or even an online student, every student has a different rate of tuition that you pay. So we have a program guide that will show you which programs for your tuition classification are either comparable to what you pay here at ASU in any other semester, or even less than what you pay here at ASU. So even for Arizona residents who pay the lowest rate of tuition, we do have a pretty decent list of programs that are comparable or less than what you would pay here at ASU. Okay, so here is our comparison for how the funding and costs work for partnership and exchange programs. So we'll start with partnership. On a partnership program, participants pay a program fee, and that is pretty comprehensive. So that program fee will include your tuition, so you won't pay ASU tuition in addition to your program fee. It's just the program fee, and that program fee includes tuition, housing, and there's an asterisk there because that is applicable to all programs except for Australia and New Zealand. It will also cover your enrollment in an international health insurance policy for the duration of your program. It will cover your administrative fees through our office. And in many cases, it covers some pretty substantial program activities. And Paula touched on this when she was talking about the student experience, but these can really range by program. It can be included overnight activities, or it can also be day trips. We have some providers that are sort of known for being a little bit more bare bones, that they keep the expense down. And we have other providers that are a little bit more expensive, but you get a lot of those extras in that program fee. This tends to be the most affordable program type for non-resident students as well as international students, because those price points are just a little bit higher. The price points, I would say, on a partnership program, they start anywhere from $7,000 on the very low end, but they can go pretty high. On average, I would say they're between $10,000 and $15,000. But again, it's not like you're at ASU and you have to pay your tuition and your housing separately and your health insurance and all that. It's all packaged into one price. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that non-traditional locations are often less expensive. And that is just sort of cost of living. Our providers can do things a little bit more cheaply when you're going a little bit more off the beaten path than if you were going to a really large city or more metropolitan cities. One of the providers we work with, if you're concerned about costs, is called USAC, USAC. And they are sort of known for their off the beaten path locations as well as their affordable price points. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the USAC programs. On exchange programs, this is a little bit different. So for all intents and purposes, it's a tuition exchange. So as we are exchanging students to that university and they are exchanging students to ASU, as an exchange participant, you will pay your normal rate of tuition to ASU according to your residency classification. So if you're an Arizona resident, you do not have a program fee, rather you pay your normal rate of resident tuition. Likewise, if you are a non-resident student, you do the same, international, online, and so on and so forth. So again, there isn't a program fee for exchange programs. All other expenses are paid separately by the student. So you would be responsible for paying your housing. If you need to put down a deposit and pay on a monthly basis and pay your rent, you may have some utilities that you have to pay. You may also need to pay for any excursions that you plan to go on. It's basically just your tuition, similarly to how it is here at ASU. There is an administrative fee as well, and that is not included, so that is separate. But this tends to be the most affordable program type for resident students. So if you're an Arizona resident and you're saying, geez, I really want to study abroad, well, you should really consider an exchange program if you feel like cost is prohibiting you, and if this is a good fit for you. For a non-Arizona resident, you're still going to pay your ASU rate of tuition, so you get a little bit less for the same price. So maybe before, well, actually, no, we'll keep going. So what's next? How do you get started? If you feel like you have enough information, or even, you know what, if you feel like you don't have enough information and perhaps this presentation is causing you more questions and you're saying, well, I didn't realize that. I really need to dive into this a little bit further. Our office does have peer advisors, so you are welcome to reach out to our office. Our contact information will be available to you here. We do have peer advisors who you can meet with, and you can set up time to Zoom with them and get more information about how study abroad works. And if you have any specific questions, you should definitely do that. Visit your MyASU, visit the Study Abroad Office website in order to start researching programs. You can search through our entire portfolio of programs. I can tell you right now, there's a lot. There's close to 300 programs. So if you're having trouble narrowing that down, again, talk to a peer advisor, they can help you. Or if you know you're interested in a partnership and exchange program and you know that you want to go to a specific country, reach out to that international coordinator, and one of us would be glad to help narrow that down for you further. We just want to make sure that you know which country you're going before you start meeting with an international coordinator, because our expertise is specific to that country. Also meet with your academic advisor. They may be able to tell you specific degree requirements that you should be seeking to fulfill while you are on your program, and that may inform your program choice. So if you need to take a specific class, there may be only 5 to 10 programs or even fewer that offer that class. And lastly, attend a Financing Your Study Abroad workshop so that you can start learning more about how the funding works, scholarship opportunities, and start applying for those scholarships. Okay, so with that, it is about 4:30 Arizona time now, and we have the rest of this presentation time for any questions from you. So I think I saw a few questions coming in through the chat. But we do want to go ahead and open it up. Hopefully now you have a little bit more of a framework for what the partnership programs are, what the exchange programs are. So we would love to hear your questions and try and answer those while we are all here together.
And again, you're welcome to put those in the chat. They might apply to other students. We can answer them. If you want, I can also go to our website and just show you the search, searching partnership and exchange programs. Could also show you the low cost program part of our website as well. If you would like me to do that, just go ahead and type yes in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. If you don't have any further questions for us today, you're welcome to log off. But let me just go ahead and.
I have some question.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me walk through the programs and then we'll get to your questions, okay? So on our website, you can go search and apply for a program. And if you are specifically looking for specific term programs, so if you want to go fall semester, spring semester, full academic year, whatever it may be, you can put that in the search. If you want to look at the exchange and partnership programs, the type of programs that we just talked about, you can look at those options specifically as well. So I'm going to click on those. It may take a little while because we do have a large number of programs. Oh, that's pretty quick. So all of these programs are partnership and exchange programs. The ones that are bolded are exchange programs. And then as we get further down, these are partnership programs, the ones that are not bolded. Okay.
And the partner is, you see some initials before the actual program name. So right now we're looking at some CAPA programs, some CIEE programs. So CAPA is the provider for those programs. CIEE is the provider for the programs below that. So really it's just a bunch of acronyms that probably won't mean a lot to anyone else, but CIEE, ISA, CAPA, USAC, SFS, IFSA Butler. I think the only provider that we work with that doesn't have acronyms or initials is Semester at Sea. So all of these are different program providers.
Yep. And then if you want to explore a program, you can just click on the program and take a look. These are our new brochure pages. So some of them may look different right now, but this is what they will all look like eventually. And this is where you can find that information about the program, program costs, financing options, location and housing options, whether or not they have a homestay, or if it's a partnership program, it may be just an apartment option, just depends. So this is the best way to look through the programs and figure out what may work best for you. And then I did want to go back and show you how to look at the low cost programs. So comparing program costs. So here's some basic comparisons. And then is this the low cost, Shira? Or is
Yes.
this, okay. There we go. So I'm going to put this link in the chat in case you want access to that to view the low cost programs. But you just click on your classification. So if you're an Arizona resident, these are the programs that are similar cost to ASU, maybe less expensive. They would be less expensive typically if the country that you are going to, like for an exchange, if the cost of living there is less expensive in that location than Tempe, Arizona, right? Then it's going to be comparable or less. So, and then if you are non-resident, online, international, so you can just click on those and look at the cost comparison key as well. All right. Any questions then? We'll take any questions that you have.
Yes, in this process, I would like to know if I like to register in this program at the current time is possible or for the next term is possible.
So right now, our applications are not open for spring 2021. Most of those deadlines have already passed. And so the next semester that you would be looking at would be summer or fall, essentially.
Okay. And during this term, my GPA would be in high value of score number of courses, isn't it? If it a number in my case, for example, the courses to be normal, it's not possible. It must be in high rated for passing the courses at the current time in UPC University, isn't it?
Are you asking about the grade scale?
Yes, exactly. The grade GPA of each course. Yes, it's so important at this term. Yes.
So
For
are you,
this, sorry, are you talking about this current semester, the fall semester, or when you would be applying to a study abroad program?
The next term it's about spring semester.
So, I mean, GPA is going to be important when you are applying for a study abroad program, because we will be looking at whatever your current GPA is when you apply.
But due to these things, I have a little problem. My previous study was information communication technology from Jahar Daneshgah Isfahan University branch.
Okay.
But at the current time, I study application and technology in unmanned aircraft, drones. Most of
Okay.
most of the students who prepare to this class are studied aerospace field. My field is not aerospace field. For this reason, in some courses which related to this one, it's not very good at. What can I do?
Sure. So I mean, unfortunately, there aren't that many exceptions to the GPA requirements. It depends on the program. You would just want to meet with the individual international coordinator to talk through that and see what options you may have. Because we do understand that sometimes students have difficulties in one semester or something like that, and then they change majors, whatever it may be. So it would just really depend on the program. Okay. But yeah.
But I have to do it, because I know many interesting people, especially in Arizona, Joe Polish, and he knows me. But I have to do it frequently and in 100% due to this education program. I need it.
Well, so I think you might want to make an appointment with one of us to talk more privately about your specific situation.
Okay.
Would you like me to send you my email address so that you can send me an email and we can set up a time to talk?
Yes, that's
Okay.
great.
Okay, I'm just going to put that in the chat.
Okay. Could you send it separate? Okay.
Did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if anyone has other like general questions about the partnership or exchange programs, again, we're happy to answer those. If it's you like a specific situation for you, we would rather meet with you separately so we can have some privacy and talk about that.
Thank you. That's great.
Yes, you're welcome.
I have a general question or two.
Yeah.
Question one. So, logistically, when you find a program, you're looking for a program that is relevant to the location, of course, and your degree. But then within that program, there are classes, presumably like several different classes. And so once you find the program, then you find classes. Is that how that goes? Or am I just doing that math wrong?
So there are actually a couple different ways to search on our website. And one of them does allow you to search by the course offered on the program. But yes, typically you would find a program. So I'm just going to choose an example. And you are a Spanish major, right?
I am.
Okay, so I'm just going to choose Spain as an example.
Sure. I've heard of it.
Of course, there are other Spanish speaking locations, but we have a lot of options in Spain. So say you were looking at the different locations and you were interested in Valencia. So let's click on that. So here we have what we call the pre-approved course list. And this is where you're going to see a listing of courses. This is a smaller program, so they don't have as many courses. And this program doesn't really offer language courses as much. But then you click on here to see how the course would transfer back to ASU.
Okay. Will you find any classes that don't transfer back to ASU, or what would change?
Yeah, so every course would transfer back, but say it's a course that we don't offer at ASU, right? Like
sure. Okay.
we don't have a course like this at all, right?
Right.
So then it's going to be SPA 494, for example. It's what we call special topics.
Okay.
And so it counts as like an upper division Spanish elective course.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So as long as there are very few exceptions to that. So for example, at one of my universities, there is legitimately a knitting course. And
I would like to go there.
And that course does not earn ASU credit. Okay. Because
sure. Because there's just no equivalent.
Right. Yes. But even the, like fitness courses, we have fitness courses here at ASU. So those could earn PPE credit, for example.
Knitting doesn't count as a fitness course?
Knitting does not, unfortunately. Yes. And then also USAC does have some cuisine courses, and those typically do not have enough in the syllabus to earn credit.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's pretty rare. Otherwise,
sure,
they will earn credit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that answers my question. That's helpful.
Great. And
I do have one other question.
Yeah, and then Garrison, just so you can see, you can search by ASU course as well, as you had asked about that.
Yep.
Okay. Other question.
Yeah. So homestays is homestay available for an exchange program or a partnership program, or does it exist in both of those programs?
That's a great question. There aren't as many exchange programs where you will find homestays, but I guess really if you can find a company that organizes homestay in that country, then you can do a homestay.
Okay. Traditionally, though, it's done in the other one.
The partnership
program.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
partnership programs, it's easier because they're going to organize it for you if that's an option that you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other general questions?
Can I point out one other way to search, and that's the study abroad by major box.
Oh, thank you, Shira.
And not every major in college is represented here, but Spanish is a great example. We have worked with the School for International Letters and Cultures, and we do have a major guide for Spanish. And we have major guides for about 100 different majors at ASU. So what you'll find here is a list of recommended programs. These are not programs that you have to go on as a Spanish major, but if you're sort of at that initial phase of, I have no idea how to narrow down my program search, this is a great way to sort of like dive in and see a couple options that the Spanish department specifically has said, yes, these would be great for our students, and you can take courses on these programs that will apply directly towards your major.
Cool. Thanks.
Other questions out there?
I guess one last question. How do we apply? Like, just officially, is it just an easy link to find on the website?
Sure. So just go to the program page and then there's an apply now button.
That's easy.
It is easy. Yes.
Okay, thanks again. I'm done now.
Yeah. But I do recommend, especially if you're thinking about multiple different types of programs, I do recommend meeting with an international coordinator before you go ahead and apply for a program so that they can help you, or a peer advisor, help you narrow it down.
Sure.
Mhm. All right. Well, if you do have additional questions, you can always reach out to our office. Our contact information, email. We have a live chat as well where you can talk to peer advisors. So as you can see down in the bottom of the page, you can do that. And then all these different ways to contact us. So feel free to reach out. We are so thankful that you joined us today for this presentation. And if we're excited to help you on your study abroad journey. So like I said, please reach out. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening.
You too have great days, and
Yep.
I send my email to you and in LinkedIn. Thank you, great.
Okay,
Have a
perfect.
nice time. Thank you
Thank
so much. I
you. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks
Thanks,
again, everyone.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.